What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. It is Friday, 9/20/2024. Shout out to everybody watching. Smash the like button if you're catching this on the live. If you're catching this on the replay, still do the same thing. Smash the like button, share it, subscribe it. Shout out to everybody joining. What's up? What's up? We have some interesting stuff to go through today. I am kind of excited for this one because we're going to go through some, we saw what happened with Kamala. We're going to review a little bit of that, and then we're going to dive a little bit into this Diddy stuff. The diddler is back. Shout out to everybody as they're coming into the chat. What's up? What's up? Let's jump into Jesse Waters. Now, here's the interesting thing, and this is all going to tie together by the end of this show. So Kamala Harris was on Oprah, and coincidentally enough, Diddy was one of the large Democratic community organizers for a very long time. So we're going to jump into what Jesse Waters has to say really quick. I should share screen, right? Here we go.
Guys in the country. He owned a record label, cable channel, clothing line, and was the Democrats' top community organizer. Diddy wasn't working alone. And now that he's behind bars, Hollywood's breaking out in a cold sweat.
I got news for you. They ain't coming just for him. They coming for a whole bunch of people. Hollywood's in trouble. I'm not talking about actors and actresses. I'm talking about the music industry. Anytime the feds are coming your way, they're not coming just for you. Think about the people he's done business with. Think about the money involved. You don't do all of this to go after somebody and their coworkers. You do this because there's a bigger fish to fry. And you suspect that he's the one that's going to nail it for you.
We're finding out a third major music executive resigned this week. We're not saying it's connected, but the timing's strange. And now a Homeland Security agent who raided Diddy's Miami mansion says this: in my opinion, he's as bad as Jeffrey Epstein. These women are young, either barely legal or barely illegal. In Diddy's freak-off dungeon, you were being watched and taped. Now the government has the tapes, and they know everybody involved in the freak-offs. Are they going to lock up the other high-profile sexual abusers, or let them get away with it like Epstein's associates? Brad Cohen's an attorney who has represented rappers Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. Brad, you're seeing some executives resign, coincidentally. Do you think this has anything to do with these new charges against Diddy?
Yes.
I think when you see something like this happen and an individual who gets arrested that's at the level of Diddy, I think you'll see a lot of people kind of running scared and abandoning not only him, but maybe also abandoning a post if they were close to him because it's bad optics for wherever they work. So I don't know if it's directly connected to just whatever actions they may or may not have taken. It could be also just because of their relationship that it's not a good look for the record label that that individual was so close to Sean Combs.
Not a good look. That's an understatement. What about these parties, Brad? Was this an open secret in the industry? And were people aware that they were being taped?
So just reading the indictment, I don't believe anybody was aware that it was being taped. It was kind of a known thing in the industry, I would imagine, that he has parties, that he had these elaborate parties. I don't know about the other part to it, but certainly he was known for white parties. He was known for big parties at his Star Island house. He was known for big parties in LA. So that wasn't a secret. The secret might have been the other part to those parties, but it could have been one of those secrets that no one ever talked about, that it was kind of like an underlying thing. I mean, this man hung out with billionaires, big names in the Democratic Party, big names in the music industry. So what his knowledge is, what he knows, is going to be very important if he decides to not go to trial and to flip on those individuals or maybe give up some information that he knows.
And he's facing 15 to life. So even if he does flip and sing, he's not going to get that much shaved off with these kind of charges. Brad, thanks so much for joining.
He is definitely not going to get hardly anything shaved off. This is interesting because I bring that up because what happened last night with Kamala and Oprah, and I'm gonna place an image on the screen here. Let me see if I could find it. So this is just interesting here. I'm gonna leave this here. I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that, but again, Diddy was a big community organizer for the Democratic Party. I'm leaving it up there, just for sake. And interestingly enough, Hollywood stars showed up. Let me share this really quick.
I see some faces I recognize.
Hold up. Before we continue, Ozempic is getting all the celebs. I've never seen Oprah this skinny before.
There's Bryan Cranston. Chris Rock is in the house. Ben Stiller, Jennifer Lopez, Tracy Ellis Ross, Julia Roberts, where are you? And Miss Meryl Streep is in the house. I see some.
So these were all the people that showed up to that event. And I pulled this clip because I really wanted to share this clip. And this is what Candace Owens had to say about just Hollywood elite in general, elites in general. Let's jump into the clip.
It's an untouchable area. You can't speak about it, but it's everything that you need to know. You should deeply research, begin with Sigmund Freud. It is dark, it is disturbing, and it is religious so far as it is like the Antichrist. And it's all real. It's right in front of your face. Very deeply disturbed, sexual, perverse individuals turned philosophy into what I believe is a fake craft of psychology, almost a form of witchcraft, which then became, down the line, Sigmund Freud's family, like I told you, created propaganda. That is Edward Bernays, his nephew. And the effects of that are what we are seeing today. Propaganda, psychology, mass psychoses implemented upon the world via the media. So they control these handlers that take over Hollywood. They insist, these handlers, on controlling every single person in Hollywood because Hollywood is the vehicle. It is the vehicle in which they can modify our behavior. We worship celebs, right? We follow celebs. We follow celeb trends. And so these handlers have to get celebs to behave in a certain way.
What do you guys think about that? Drop that in your comments down below. Drop it in the chat down below, because this is when I saw this clip, and then coincidentally enough, the next clip that I'm going to share with you guys was brought to you by the PBD podcast. And, when I see that, I get the chills up my spine, because is it propaganda? Yes, I clearly think it is. And we're seeing this become more and more exposed as we're getting closer towards this election. That a lot came out today. So I got a couple other videos for today, but a lot came out today. And here is an interesting clip from Stephen Baldwin. You guys remember Stephen Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, on the PBD podcast.
Hollywood is evil.
Tell me why.
No, just listen. I love you.
Has it always been, or is it now?
Always. Okay. I've learned it's changed so much. The most important thing is the storytelling. I just, on the flight over here, literally the flight you brought me on, I watched Jerry Maguire.
One of my all-time favorites.
They don't make them like that anymore, Patrick. Why? Patrick, why? Because Hollywood controls the content. What's Hollywood about now? Wait, because I did this on Jamie Kennedy, I got in trouble. Jamie Kennedy said, "You're wrong. Hollywood is not elitist. Hollywood does not have a small club that it feeds itself and they make Barbie and MCU and that's it. They want the money. The machine of Hollywood wants the money, not the art, not the quality film like Jerry Maguire. They don't want that. They used to. But that generation's, those great directors, that decade of those storytellers is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling out for money. He goes on in this interview. I highly recommend you guys watch it. He goes on in this interview. We're going to share a little bit more clips of that. He goes on to speak and says, actors and actresses no longer make film for the space of, getting creative outlet. They do it for the money. And it's interesting because when we look back, Chappelle, all these situations are all kind of commingling now that everything's kind of coming to the forefront. It is very, very interesting. It is very, very interesting. I'm going to get into Kamala Harris on Oprah. And this is why these are commingling, because Oprah had these Hollywood elitists on, and they're pushing this candidate up that has no quality whatsoever. And they're pushing this candidate up. A few years ago, they thought this person was crap. A couple weeks ago, they thought this person was crap. And after this interview, they probably still think the same thing. But let's jump into this. This is from Newsmax. This is about the Kamala Harris and Oprah. How many of you guys watched that last night? I'm not going to put you guys through that crap, but let's jump into this.
Newsmax Chief White House Correspondent James Rosen joins us live right now from the North Lawn with more on this. James, good afternoon.
Bianca, good afternoon to you. The vice president's 90-minute sit-down with Oprah Winfrey was recorded in Farmington Hills, a suburb about a half hour north of Detroit, and was, as you say, live streamed as a kind of celebrity-studded virtual rally. So the likes of Meryl Streep, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, and others joined in remotely. On crime and guns, the vice president said, if somebody breaks into my house, they're getting shot, adding she's not out to take people's guns away. But on the issue that is number one for most voters this cycle, substantive answers didn't come easily, or at least readily.
We really would love to know what your
This
plan
one's
is
great.
to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah. First of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
What is she saying?
Oprah, for her part, spoke of the veil that she saw lift when the vice president back in July stepped into her own and replaced her boss at the top of the Democratic ticket.
They kicked Joe Biden out. They kicked him out. Stepped into her own. What? She was possibly forced to step into this role. I don't think she wants this role. I don't think she wants to be vice. I don't think she wants to be, because she's definitely not acting like she wants to be president whatsoever.
Take it.
And then the next week, I saw you walking in the thing. And I said, what happened to you? You know, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Willie Brown.
Time to step up. Time to step up, you know? Well, the moment you heard.
Moments ago, President Biden convened the first meeting of his cabinet in 11 months. In remarks to the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. yesterday, the chief executive cited the cut in interest rates by the Federal Reserve and the latest inflation data to argue that he is leaving the American economy in what he called a good place.
What?
At its peak, as you all know, inflation was 9.1% in the United States. Today, is much closer to 2%. It doesn't mean our work is done. Far from it. Far from it. No one should confuse why I'm here. I'm not here to take a victory lap. I'm not here to say a job well done. I'm not here to say we don't have a hell of a lot more work to do. We do have more work to do. But what I am here to speak about is how far we come.
Most polls, however, show the American people continuing to give the Biden-Harris administration poor marks on the handling of the economy. The Real Clear Politics average of major reliable polls shows fewer than 4 in 10 Americans approving of the job the administration's doing on the economy. Just before the cameras were shoved out of that cabinet meeting, President Biden took a couple of questions from reporters about the Middle East. He was asked about the continuing efforts to try and get a ceasefire for hostages deal in Gaza, seeming increasingly elusive. The president saying a lot of things don't look realistic until we get them done. We have to keep at it. And then about the increasing tensions.
And then Jill took over the meeting. What's up, everybody that's just joining? Shout out to everybody that's just joining. I'm going to share this, and I know some of you guys are going to be like, no, don't show this, but I got to show this. Here is the interview, and here's the interview with Kamala Harris and Oprah, but it is a super cut. You ready? Here we go.
Which is, we are an optimistic people.
There you go. There you go. That's all you need to know. You don't even need to watch the Kamala. You don't even need to watch the whole thing. I'll play it again. Here we go.
Which is, we are an optimistic people.
That's about the only answer that you got out of that whole thing, and that's all that matters. I'm going to jump into the PBD podcast with Stephen Baldwin, talking more. I watched this earlier today, and he speaks more about the elites in Hollywood, particularly.
And use that little kid inside that wants to touch the world and be creative and have a heart and teach his kids and pass it on and have that legacy. You're staying in your position according to what, where God's put you. Kevin Kostner wants to.
Who are the bosses of Hollywood today? Who are the heavyweights of Hollywood today? Like, back in the days, you would hear about, and I'm talking 20 years ago,
something so
Giffen, Weinstein, all these guys. Who are the bosses today? Who has the power today?
We don't know yet, Patrick.
We don't know yet.
Who's pulling the strings?
No, you just said Harvey Weinstein's gone now, right? So who replaces that vacuum?
Is it a Hastings?
I don't know, but watch. So now you have what happened with him is now happening with some other people. What happened to Harvey Weinstein is now happening to other very powerful people.
Public?
Well, is it Sean Combs, right?
Right. Yeah,
same thing that happened to Weinstein is happening to Sean Combs. Now you have to understand, whatever sphere of reach Sean Combs had, all those people are being affected. A very high-ranking guy just stepped down from a big agency in Hollywood because he was affiliated to.
I saw that.
Sean, you saw that?
Yeah.
So ask me again, who runs Hollywood? We don't know yet. We got to see who the good guys are and who the bad guys are in that respect. But it doesn't change the business side of it. Who runs Hollywood? Right now, the people who are the most profitable. That's who runs Hollywood.
Who's feared?
Me.
Why?
Because I'm a silly little cute little funny little Baldwin brother that just wants to do one bad movie podcast. My podcast is interviewing actors about their bad movie experiences. You know why? Actors are only human. They sit down to take a dump. All of them. Even.
I love what he said there. Not about the dump part, but we don't know. We don't know who is running it. And I'm seeing in the chat that some names like Justin Bieber have come up. And coincidentally enough, Stephen Baldwin's son-in-law is Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, I don't think necessarily was a what's it called? A co-conspirator or collaborator on the events. I think he was more so a victim of this. There was some footage of, yeah, exactly. Bieber is a victim of it. Yeah, they was just saying that people were drugged up and all this other stuff. There was some footage of Diddy and Bieber and all this acting weird. But let me see what else we got. We got, okay. There was a question in the chat regarding what kind of gun does Kamala Harris actually own. I personally think it's a water gun. She might be lying again, which is a common thing that happens with her. But CNN interviewed one of the Harris campaign handlers.
At one point, well, if somebody tries to break into my home, they're going to get shot. She made that comment, and then she said, well, my staff will go ahead and clean that up. You are on Kamala Harris's staff. Can you give us some more information? I'm just curious, from a biographical background, what do we know about this firearm that she owns, and when did she get it?
Yeah, well, look, she has made it very clear that she staunchly supports the Second Amendment. She supports strong, responsible gun ownership, and she does own a firearm. So I don't know. I can't really comment more than.
I was thinking the same thing. And it's interesting when she said that in the interview. She said, if somebody breaks in my house, I'll shoot them, and then I shouldn't have said that. I'll have my team take care of that. It's just interesting that she would even say something like that. But yeah, I do believe it is a super soaker, the one with the backpack on it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Diddy is on Swatch right now. I don't want to say necessarily the word, but I'll have this video kind of say it, because I don't know the flow on the YouTubes.
Breaking news right now, Larry. I am just getting word. People Magazine says it's got a source on the inside that tells them that P. Diddy's on suicide watch tonight. Do your sources confer the same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they called his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. They have housing units, and they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white-collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit, because somebody will take him out for sure.
I'm sure he's scared out of his pants. That was a bad joke. I'm sure he's scared because he's so used to living the way that he does. And he's in this facility now that is dirty. I heard is filled with maggots and roaches and all this other stuff. So he's not living the fabulous lifestyle. But all this being said, this was all collaborated or connected together in some capacity. We see these photos. Let me get this photo here. We see photos like this. It's very interesting to say that, particularly Diddy, that an individual didn't know what was actually going on. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me check out the chat real quick. Yeah, I agree with Gina here. I think they're placing him on Swatch because he doesn't. Yeah, who knows? With the Epstein thing, the cameras coincidentally went off. I don't know. We all know, but I gotta say I don't know because I'm on the YouTubes. But this is very interesting. What's this one? Yep. Let me know what you guys think about this. Oh yeah. Yeah, they signed, his mom signed over like parental guidance over to Puffy at the time. This is crazy. I don't know how this is all gonna coincide, but I do know that the celebs Hollyweird is pushing an agenda to push and prop this candidate up named Kamala Harris, that was once the worst VP in history and is now in the likes of Obama and whoever they're saying that she's alike with. And it's crazy to me. It is absolutely bananas. That's going to do it for me on this video. We got a lot more to cover today, but drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about all this. And other than that, guys, how about, yep. I was just about to close out, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Drop your comments down below, smash the like button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for joining and chatting. I'll catch you guys on the next one.